T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I'm Chris Williams, and you're listening to the Black Lightning Podcast.
Hi, y'all. Wow. Well, welcome to the Lituation Room, guys, aka the Black Lightning Podcast. I am your host, Brittany Monet, and today we will be discussing Season 4, Episode 1, Book of Reconstruction, Chapter 1, Collateral Damage. Today I have with me Brother Nate. How's it going?
It's been a long day without you, my friend. Wait for it, Vanessa Sharp. And I'll tell you all about it when I see Henderson. Oh, oh, we live, baby. We back. We black. It's good to be here, Cap. Yes, some would say this could be a bittersweet night since this is the first episode of the Black Lightning Podcast for Season 4, the final season of Black Lightning. But I'm excited, man. I feel like we're gonna have some fun tonight, and you know, all of this emotion that we've been holding back for the past few months, so we can get it out tonight, Cap.
Whew, well, we gotta remember we're live.
Well, that's why that's the only reason I'm glad Clemaine's not here, because then the FCC might have to shut us down tonight. But I feel like the three of us, we can keep it PG tonight.
I'll try.
Yes, we'll try. And then obviously we also have Vanessa here. How's it going, V?
Hi. I'm finally off work and I'm feeling good and I'm excited to talk about the episode. I loved it and excited to be talking to y'all. And I'm going to really try and not curse. Sometimes I slip up when I get really passionate and I start going, ah. So you guys will see that. Yeah, but I'm doing good. Yay.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm great. The only reason I'm not on camera is because I'm still pretty much doing this from my phone, and like I don't have a proper like desk setup / where I can set up my phone where it's like high enough where you can see my face instead of looking at my ceiling and all that stuff. So it's either looking at my ceiling or looking at a picture of myself. So that's the options, and it's just easier because I want to be somewhat hands-free, kind of. But yeah, I worked today too. It was a day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but whew. I don't have any news for you guys because the only news I remember was the casting announcement of Melissa De Sosa. I hope I said her name right. Who is, as we know, is playing the new captain for Freeland PD.
Captain Kamala out here on these streets. I mean, come on, Vanessa Shark. You know what they was doing? They ain't slick.
Oh yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Gotta have representation everywhere.
Yes. But no, I do like Melissa. She was great in the Best Man movies. If you
Mm.
guys are familiar with those.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's just talk about the episode, I guess.
Yeah.
So, this episode,
Mm.
if I'm remembering correctly, it begins with we see Grace, right? Is it Grace that we start off with? And she's still
No,
like,
we start because I just, not to cut you off, Cap, but I just watched it, like literally right before we went on tonight. I just
Good.
finished
Someone
watching the
did.
episode. I finished watching the episode on the always reliable CW website. Um, and so like the episode starts at a graveyard, and Jeff's at a gravesite, and we
yes,
don't
yes.
quite know yet whose gravesite Jeff is at.
Yes, that's correct. You know, I was hoping that it would be someone else still somehow.
Mm.
But we know who it is. It's sorry if you have not caught up, you're being spoiled right now. It was Chief Henderson, who we lost last season, which still it hurts my soul that he's gone. But that scene was really good because it was with Jeff talking to like his dad, but it's I think, you know, more of like his dad in his head talking to him type of thing. But it's still a really good scene. Like I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, same. I thought that was a really powerful way to like show where, you know, Jefferson's head was at. He's grieving hard, and I actually was impressed that they went that route. I seen there's so many. CW loves a hero mourning at the graveyard scene, and I thought this was probably one of the better ones. And I love the touch of having his dad actually physically there talking to him. That was, yeah, I thought it was great. And I think, you know, that anger and that sadness, I think that was I think I said this to you guys earlier, part of that felt real. Like it wasn't just like, I felt like some of that was like crest behind it. Like, you know, there's some emotional release there.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Vanessa. Like I really enjoyed the way they opened this, like even just talking about the way that the shot was crafted, where we're kind of upside down, and Jefferson mentions it later on in the episode, like the world's going upside down, and no, he hasn't just been watching Hamilton on a loop, Cap. But I feel like that just lets you know like what we're in for with Jefferson and his emotional state right now, and so to have this image or this manifestation of his father that he's talking to at the graveyard, and you know, trying to process everything, and like at this point we don't know that it's been a year, but we find that out like I think in the very next scene when he's driving home, that it's been a year since the end of season 3 of Black Lightning. And so it's like he's still holding on to all of this, Brittany, and it's like it's just setting us up for like, yeah, this isn't happy smiling Jeff that was walking out of Gotham City with his head high and his shoulders back. This is a Jeff that's been in trauma for a year, and as we see during this episode, he's been self-medicating a lot for this year.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I felt too. Like Vanessa was just hinting at, that it felt very reflective of just, you know, us. Like they had spent a year. Like it's been a year since, you know, they had got out the occupation that they were in, or, you know, or quarantine kind of thing. And, you know, I mean, as we now are in the midst of dealing with one, like we know just how much that can weigh on you mentally, emotionally, physically. And then, you know, to also lose, you know, a good friend, a family, a loved one, you know, during that time it is. So a lot of us do sympathize with Jeff and everyone else who's missing Henderson, like, you know, and there are maybe some people who kind of have the energy that, as we see Jen in a scene or two later, who's very like, all right, it's been a year, like, come on, let's like move forward, you know. But not everyone is, you know, in a place to move forward fast. And I really like that we saw the different people at different stages of dealing with what has happened in this year for the characters, at least.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like this is a side of Jefferson that we haven't really seen. Like we've seen angry Jeff, we've seen Principal Jeff, we've seen drunk, lonely man, sad about his woman, Jeff.
Mhm.
But we haven't seen a Jeff that's given up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
even in the crossover last year when Jeff first comes into contact with everybody and he finds out that his Earth, his world is finished. Like there's a moment where he's like,
Mhm.
everything's gone, but real quick, Jeff is back into action. You know, because
Mhm.
he's a hero. That's what he does. But this is the first time we've seen Jeff, Vanessa, like, I don't give a damn about Black Lightning. I tried and it didn't work, so I'm not gonna try anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was. There's such a despair there that like I can relate to, and it kind of scared me a little bit. And that's just he's such a good actor, man. Because I really felt like I felt it. I felt his rage, and like especially in the next scene, when he sees
Yes.
Yep.
the cops harassing that kid. Someone pointed out on Twitter that it might have been a Elijah parallel because he had a violin on him.
Yep.
And
Elijah and Trayvon, because he's got his hoodie on. So it's that really did hit home, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there was a lot. My feelings during the whole scene was so chaotic because I knew right then and there if I had superpowers, that's exactly what I would do, and that's probably why I shouldn't. There are consequences to those actions, and we'll talk about that later. But
you can't get no shark lightning powers. Like, no, they ain't ready for that, Vanessa.
Right? You can't get a shark powers. But that's what I felt in that moment. I was like, well, I like saw myself on the like. There's just so much rage. It was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So before we set up that scene, Cap, shout out to everybody that's watching us live here tonight, this evening.
Yes.
If you got comments, hit us up, and then we'll get to them.
We actually do have one from Ollie.
Okay, for Oliver.
Yes, and he's saying, watching live, I love the episode, and yes, 1 year later. Yes, 1 year later. Like, I was surprised that they were going with 1 year later, but I think it really hits the nail because then, like, everyone else who is watching with the audience, you know, like I said, we are evolved and in a place of trying to heal from our own traumas and dealing with that. So it makes it much easier to, I think, get comfortable within the show just a little bit. But yes, is the scene before? Is that then the scene with Grace and like still we find out that she's still been in a coma?
No, because we're still like we go from the graveyard to Jeff riding home. Like we don't get Black Lightning's back until he gets done with the cops.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. But I didn't realize we were still talking about that scene. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, well, because I want to hear your take on it. Plus, I also have another comment about it after you get through, Brittany.
Yeah. I like Vanessa said, I think if, you know, I had powers and was in a place where, you know, I was less likely to be hurt in that situation, I think I would also react the same. And, you know, I would step in and do something. It's easier to do something when you are powerful to do it, you know? You know, like that also raises the question of like, how many times have people witnessed this and would have done something if they know that they, you know, had lightning powers, or they, like Luke Cage, are bulletproof, and you know, how many of us would have actually stepped in because we know that we can save the person and not, you know, risk ourselves or whatever. But it was really powerful to watch. And then my mind was like, oh no, somehow this is gonna get back to him. That's
So for me, I had a couple thoughts. Like I agree with you and Vanessa, Brittany, in that there is something that is very kind of full circle about the way the last season begins and season one started. Because the first scene we got in season one was Jeff and the girls in the car. Being pulled over, and in that moment Jeff didn't do anything. You know, Jeff had to restrain himself, Vanessa, because, you know, he knew what could happen if he let go. And, you know, like you're saying, there's despair here with this Jefferson. And so, like, we went from a Jeff that's like, I can't put myself and the girls at risk, to a Jeff that don't care. Like a Jeff that is, and Gamby says it later on in the episode, like Jeff is reckless. Jeff is out here living wild, and he gets wilder as the episode goes on. But I think, other than like the way that kind of resonated, there was something I had to write down, and I had a question. So I had to go to the resident comic expert here in the crew in the Lituation Room, and that's Vanessa Short. So Vanessa, when Jeff fries the cops before he blows up the car and everything, he hits him with a little mind wipe. Have we seen this before? And B, like, is this something Jeff can do in the comics?
Okay, I personally, Black Lightning's lightning powers have continuously been shown to be elevated in the comics. I think literally in Future State right now, I'm not reading it, but in Future State, he's literally is turned into a being of lightning. So his powers have always been all over the place. I don't believe in the original, but like as far as I know, and the stuff that I've read, that has not been a power that he can do. Don't know what I read. I could be wrong though, and I can Google that. But from what I've read, I just read like a series that Tony Isabella did, and I read like Outsiders and some of the Outsider stuff, and like that's not something that I've seen him do in the comics, but that's true.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, okay, like Jeff is, and we see later on when he goes too far, like this Jeff feels like he's doing different things that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, no, it's
Definitely.
It's an evolution.
Oh, I was just saying definitely.
Yeah, it's an interesting to see how all of their powers throughout the episode, like they're doing different things with each of them have done different things with their powers that we haven't seen before, which is cool. Yep. Ollie said, "Oh, what about Gammy and the agent kissing at the restaurant?"
No, we gonna get there, Ollie. We gonna get there.
Yes. Oliver _1212 on Twitter. That's his thing.
Shout out to Ollie.
And David from Kansas said hi. Hello.
Okay. Hello. What up, Dave? Sorry about them Chiefs, fam.
I know. I'm sorry. I was gonna mention it.
So now we can get to the hospital, Brittany Monet.
Well, yes. Sorry. Like I said, I only watched it once this week. I usually get them twice. But yeah, we get to the scene where we see Anissa, and Jin also is with her in the room, and we know that Grace is still in a coma. And just because the scene was revealed before, with it's been a year since the occupation ended. It's been a year pretty much since Grace has been in a coma, and
I was laughing at that. My bad. Oh, sorry. We had a comment from Warren Walker. That was funny, but please finish your thought.
Okay. I'm sad because it's like, we all know that Chantal has been moved up to a series regular, and it's like, dang, first episode.
Yo, if they got this sister laying in this bed this whole season, I'm gonna write a letter or something.
She said on Instagram, I think or on Twitter, that she fell asleep during that scene. She was actually out from that, which is funny because I think that happens a lot. Like I think Melissa Benoist said that she fell asleep during Crisis when she was out on the table and stuff which just seems to be a pattern. You get your beauty rest, babies. Get your beauty rest.
Oh, I know. Those set days are long.
Get a nap when you get it.
Especially CW shows. I know they film almost 18 hours a day. So so I would understand being like, okay, I'm going to take a nap now.
Yeah, right.
Oh, real quick, that just sparked something in my head, Cap. So before we continue with what happened on this episode, did either of you kind of have any impression when it comes to how the show looked? Because granted, the only other of our CW Arrowverse shows that's out is Batwoman, but this definitely feels like it was made during COVID. Like you can there's an isolation to it. Like not that it was a bad episode, but you can certainly tell like they're limiting the shots to a single shot or a group of 2 or 3.
I've noticed. I noticed that. Yes, I don't know film terms, but I was just like, this it felt weird or not weird. Yeah, it felt off. Something. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and usually you've seen like filler shots basically that are like, you know, shots of like a hallway with people walking and things like that. There wasn't a lot of those little like
not a lot of extras this week.
There wasn't a lot of extras, I noticed, like especially later on when we get to the scene with Jeff is at his office at the school, and like there was only like maybe one or two other people that you could maybe see, and the other like when they're shooting to the other person that's trying to like get his attention or whatever, and they're like filming that person, you only see one or two other people, when you know they could get away with that because it's like, oh, maybe they, you know, but those are things that you do notice that you don't see as many people in the just throughout the whole entire show. I think even maybe the club scene later, like it felt like maybe there's only like two people there.
Yeah, agreed. Warren Walker said, speaking of Jeff riding home, I'm glad he upgraded from the season 1 station wagon, but can't they give my man an SUV, especially when Anissa got that big truck she got.
Right?
Valid.
Hey man, he working on this public service salary. He a principal. Like, shout out to Jeff being back at the job. So I'm happy for that at least.
He's Bernie frugal, you know, like he's got one good coat.
Yep.
Then what was the next scene? Oh my gosh, I haven't rewatched the episode, guys.
Wait, I sent you the thing. Click this private chat. I sent you something. That's how I
think. Yeah, while Brittany looks at that, I believe that our next scene is with Uncle Gamby.
Oh, okay. Am I still in the? Am I still in this? Hello. Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe our next scene is Uncle Gamby, where he gets a visitor.
Yes. Yes.
What was her name?
I didn't even get to
I didn't catch her name, but I know Gamby was out here catching feelings.
Yes. There was some sizzle in that scene. I was like, what's going on there? Huh. Okay.
She had a scene or in the scene she was basically telling him that she has a job for him that he should look into, but it's still a little something. I think she said it was working with like powered, it sounded like it was working with powered people, and like something that's kind of similar to what he does now, but a little more government hands-on. And I was like, all right. And I'm like, as the scene is unfolding, I'm like, is there something going on between these two? And then she kissed him, and I was like, oh.
Say, oh, Danby.
Oh, Danby. Yeah. He got a boo thing. I don't know.
Yo, James Remar been trying to tell us, because at Fandom he was like, I hope Gamby gets a love interest this season.
Hey, let the man kiss somebody before the show goes. Come on,
right? Like, it's the last season, man. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Sorry, I was listening to Lonely Island on my way home. So
classic.
But yeah, I really like seeing Gamby have a little romantic interest, and then also him being in a place of like he still kind of wants to only work with like Jeff and stuff right now. I just love Gamby.
Yeah, I'm worried about Gamby.
I'm always worried about Gamby.
he's I'm just worried about any father figure in any hero's life.
Yeah, they bet not. They bet not do nothing to Uncle Gamby this season. Like, come on now.
We've already been through it. We don't need any more.
Right. Don't take us to the river no more.
I know. It's been too much.
We have been through a lot, yes. Like, I don't need any more tragedies, please. Leave him alone. Let him go off into the sunset with his shady government girlfriend. Anyway.
Yeah. And then does it go back to the girls and Jennifer, if I'm remembering correctly? No. Or is it Lala? I'm sorry.
No, it's Tobias, because Gamby, Gambi gets up when
Oh,
because Gambi gets up when she leaves, and at first I thought Gambi was like, you know what, let me go ahead and chase this good thing I got going on right here. But Gambi's like, can you turn that up? And it's Tobias Whale that they thought was dead. He back and he cleaned himself up.
And he's giving like a very Trump speech. He's like, I know, like, he was like, oh, I donated money to all these things. And then he's like, let's make Freeland great again. I'm like, did he just say, let's make Freeland great again?
Oh, God, I'm so tired of hearing that phrase and any version of it. But it was interesting, the parallel between that and, like, if you watch Supergirl, Lex Luthor, like, I think that episode of, Crisis crossover when Lex Luthor basically rewrote and was like, I'm a hero, I'm a whatever, good guy. And that reminded me of that, which was, like, eerie, because I'm like, in another reality, I would be like, are they setting up the Legion of Doom? But
that would be amazing. Tobias and Lex out here on these streets.
Yeah, that's terrifying combination. But it reminded me of that, and like he is very much Black Lightning's Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is the last season, he should be like the big bad this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I hope that something magical happens and HBO Max is like, we'll take you. I'm just, hoping for it, fingers crossed. But I agree. If this is really officially the very last season and no one else is picking up Black Lightning, then I do hope that he is the big bad, because Krondon is so good.
Yeah, he really is. He's terrifying, menacing.
Yes. I feel like he's
petty. Like, we'll see petty later on this episode.
Oh yes. I have thoughts about that scene.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, and then I think we see everyone's point of view watching this. Like the I don't know if it was CNN, but we see Gambi sing it. We see Jeff sing it, and then I know we see for sure Anissa singing it. I don't remember if everyone else saw it, but I know that we saw all these different people and their reactions, and everyone's like, "Oh, what the hell?"
And Lala shot the TV.
Yes, my man.
He's not happy. That framing of the bullet hole, and that last shot of like Tobias Whale, I was like, "Is that foreshadowing?" So that was interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Lala, as we all know. He was in something else that I was watching. I'm like, it's Lala.
Yeah, he was in Lovecraft Country recently.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah,
yes,
he was he was the dad of the dad. He was the abusive dad. The abusive dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of abuse on that show.
Oh, I know. Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Lala. I was watching some of their people's live tweets, and a lot of people were like, I don't know what Lala's doing here for, but I think his only purpose is to just give us good music scenes.
Yes.
I don't know what he's here for, but the music is great.
All of his music cues are so good.
Yes.
And then, then the scene later on in the episode I really liked.
Anybody know what the name of this song is? So we're skipping ahead, folks. Oh, I'm skipping ahead, and I apologize, but just to get to this one specific minor line in this whole episode, where one of Lala's henchmen is like, "Does anybody know what the name of this song is?" Now, Lala is not in the scene yet, so are you telling me that in this world, Vanessa Sharp, Lala's theme music is not him in the car listening to the radio, but it's just this? That's Lala's meta power. Besides all the tattoos and everything, is his theme music precedes him wherever he goes.
Yes.
That is a fun power to have.
Yeah.
I would love that.
This dramatic music everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I walk into a room.
Yes. I love him, and then his music cues. Sorry, Nala. Yeah.
So, are you a cat or are you a lawyer? Which one are you, Brittany?
A cat lawyer.
Sure, there's money in that somewhere.
Probably. couples therapy, right?
I'm gonna say, you know where else there's money, Brittany? Being a therapist for superheroes.
The superheroes, yeah. I was surprised that they didn't have. Well, maybe just because she only does superheroes. Prenna, but also
that would have been good.
COVID budget. I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, COVID budget too. They probably can't afford to have everybody.
Yeah,
right.
I thought. Look, at first I thought you were gonna say the doctor from the Flash, and I'm like, Brittany, she don't want these problems. She ain't ready for this.
Oh, that lady! Oh, bless her heart.
She spent one session with Jeff and Lynn and be like, you know what? I'm going back to Central City. I don't even really need this.
Mm-hmm.
We have Oliver said, I love Lala's bodyguard. He's so dope, smooth, calm, and collected.
Devontae, yeah. Shout out to Devontae.
Devontae's a real one.
My man, he came up from type 2 diabetes to number 2 in the 100.
Yes. Moving up.
My man.
Sorry for my terrible singing. Yeah, no, and then when I saw they were in couples therapy, I'm like, God damn.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I was like, I just want my happy Jeff and Lynn. Give me my happiness. And they're just
and it's even sadder, like when you think they've probably been like this the whole year, and it's like, damn.
Yes.
Like fracturing completely. Which also is another mirroring for a lot of couples are dealing with a lot of stress after like the pandemic and like lockdowns. So I thought that was an interesting choice for them to show like, yeah, couples are dealing with something and let's see how, but the fact that they're both self-medicating in problematic ways and keeping it from each other, which cannot help their situation at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, but Lynn is always like, I'm doing it in the name of science. That's always, I feel like, Lynn's excuse for what she does.
The ends justify the means to her.
Yeah, that was a rough scene because like I think we had like this false sense of security to some extent at the end of season 3. Where like they're all power walking out of Gotham City, and it's like even in that moment, like we know Lynn's still on that stuff to some extent, but we're like they'll figure it out. And then to find out now, Vanessa, like they've been doing this for a whole year, where like Jeff is just shut down. Him and Lynn aren't intimate in any sense of the word anymore. The girls do their own thing, and like. Gamby's got to track Jeff down because Jeff's not connecting with his mentor, his father figure. And it's like, yeah, like this is bad. This is bad right now where our families.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
and I mean, you can't have a drama show without drama, but still, it's just like, no, they deserve happiness.
Yeah.
that
better be the final season of season 4. Like I'm not telling the writers what to do, y'all, but the last scene of season 4 should just be a happy family dinner. Maybe even a cookout if they want. Like, just the Pierce family and maybe Joe West and maybe the Diggles can come by and they can get a plate, and that's the end of Black Lightning. Roll credits.
That would be ideal.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see.
I hope they do it. If it ends sad, I don't know. I'm gonna be heartbroken.
Batwoman can come and get a plate now.
Yes.
I wish.
She couldn't do that last season.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh, the shade.
The shade of it all.
All right. Yeah, where are we at now? I have no idea where we're at.
We're just leaving couples therapy.
Yeah,
okay.
And then isn't it we see Jen and Anissa, they're obviously still suiting up and fighting crime, keeping drugs off the street, because that scene is a lead into the scene that we were talking about where Lala's listening to his music. They basically go to one of the 100's warehouses where it's drugs. They pretty much destroy the drugs and beat them down. And I think Anissa's thunderclap is purple now.
Yeah, so cute.
I was like, hey.
Yeah, I like the little the tag team moves they had, the little combo move at the end. But I also liked, and you alluded to it earlier, Vanessa, like the evolution of powers where we saw Anissa take that first deep breath at the beginning of the fight, and then it felt like she managed her breath throughout the fight.
Yeah.
Whereas last year or in season 1, she'd have to take that breath almost 3 or 4 times during a fight.
Yeah. It's definitely. I'm glad that they actually showcase what's happened to their powers in a year. Obviously they've grown exponentially. I don't know why it's purple now, but that's dope that it is. The only thing I can think of is that because the blue and the yellow lightly color combos. I don't know, but I think it's not blue and yellow. That makes green. I don't know what color combo. Oh wait, blue and red. But that doesn't make sense because where's red come from? I don't know. I'm babbling, but it's cool. And it was really cool to see to see Jennifer with, China's natural hair, after last season of her being in that wig the whole time. I was like, this show is the one show that allows Black girls to have their hair, showcase how often Black women's hair changes. And it was disappointing that it was just that one wig last year, but this year she at least gets to showcase her natural hair. But man, that stunt double, I could tell.
why look here's the thing, and this I was watching a review. I watched a couple review and reaction shows earlier today, and one of them was Married to the Real. I don't know if y'all ever seen that, but I love me some Married to the Real. Shout out to Trey and Tasha. But they were talking they were so mad about that scene, Vanessa. They're like, if you gonna do it, at least don't slow it down.
Right? I was like, why did who on earth found the replica of Justin Timberlake's spaghetti curly hair and ran it over with a tractor and then blow dried it and put it on some poor woman's head? I can't. As if we don't go through enough with this network. Come on. I know they're famous for the bad wigs, but please.
I feel like there's been mostly on Black Lightning has been good wigs up until
they had that budget. They had to cut.
I was gonna say that's that Rona budget. That Rona budget right there.
That's exactly what happened. They had to cut so the hair budget was just.
Yep, that's why they were probably like, okay, yeah, you can rock your natural hair. That's probably why they were just like, yep, that's cool. You don't have to worry about a wig.
Right. But that leads into Lala mad, and he's listening in his car. He's such a weirdo.
I know. And what is it? He's like, y'all. What did Devontae tell him? You better knock it off or something. He's deciding on which one of y'all needs to kill.
Yep.
And they don't even believe him. And it's like, why would you not believe Lala's right hand man? Why would you doubt him? I don't know, it's so funny. And then he's like, and then Lala comes out. He's like, I was in there thinking, which one of you I want to kill? It was the first thing he says when he walks
yeah, he's very menacing in that scene where he was just pointing the gun at faces. And I was like, he's just yeah.
And so in this episode, we learned that for the past year, after they were last year, they were kind of part of the resistance, the 100. And so now it feels like they're back to, they back to their old gang ways,
Yeah, aren't they charging people now for supplies and stuff too?
They running drugs, they running guns. And then it was real brief. And if you blinked, you missed it. But when Jeff was driving in the second scene of the episode, the news person who may or may not have been Roland Martin, I think he sounded like Roland Martin, maybe not, but he was the war between the 100 and the Cobra gang rages on. So I wonder when we're gonna meet this Cobra gang, or I don't know if we got enough time for the Cobra gang, honestly. But we only got 13 episodes, man. There's a lot of stuff we need to do, and I'm not worried about this Cobra gang.
Maybe they want a gang war in the backdrop.
Have a random scene.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh gosh, why does this have to be the last season?
Mm.
Uh,
That's a whole nother episode right there, Cap. We gonna talk
Yeah.
about that.
oh, I know. I mean, we already did, but
Yeah.
You go back and listen to it.
we have a couple comments from Ollie.
Okay.
Let's see. We already read the one about Lala's bodyguard Devontae, right? Okay. So his
Yeah.
next one is no intimacy between Jeff and Lynn. He just wants sex, which that's another way of self medicating and not trying to connect with people. Then we have please, I hope I say your name right, sir. Rashad King. He said, "Yo, welcome to the chat." I don't know what else to say.
Okay. We see you, Rashad. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
So we're all right. So we almost saw Lala murk one of his own peoples. So does this take us then, Cap? Are we headed to the big fight with Jeff, Lynn, and Anissa? Is that next?
Oh, they're all fighting about what to do.
With Tobias? Oh yeah.
So yes. Anissa's very clear and she wants to kill Tobias. Jeff is still, or was it Lynn that says no? No, it was Jeff who says no because he doesn't want them to kill any more people. And they're
Lynn was with it. Lynn was ready for this.
And it's Jeff who said he didn't want them to kill any more people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he said no more killing, and and they were basically like, we're all responsible for deaths or whatever, right? And then they mentioned that.
Yep. Yeah. And this is like we all done kill people, but we not murderers though. And Jeff is just like, damn. But yeah, like I feel like this is gonna be like the big question of the whole season. Is because like Jeff, it's almost weird, Vanessa, that Jeff is not willing to kill Tobias considering some of the things we've seen from Jeff in this episode.
Yeah.
Like that's maybe that's the only thing in the back of his mind that's keeping him a hero, quote unquote, keeping him like whatever like the little part of Black Lightning there is him not breaking that code. But it feels like after what we saw tonight, like it's like or in the episode, it's like you're not that far away, dog.
Right. I was like thinking that was the first indication when he was like emphatically saying no. That was the first indication that he did not kill those cops. I was like, oh, okay. So he must have just wiped their mind. I don't know why I thought I was like, damn. But did you just kill those cops? I was like, okay, maybe he didn't kill those cops. I did not realize.
That would have been. I would have been like, damn. Like they're not playing this season. If that's how you start the show.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, Jesus. But no, it seemed like he was like, we don't go that far, and but it is interesting that that's not they doesn't see that his behavior is only a couple degrees away from already going that far. Like attacking, electrocuting like non-metas, like their bodies can't sustain that much electricity. Like, like that's just, I don't know. Yeah. I thought it was weird that he was that emphatic about it when he, fried some cops.
Yeah, I think also it just, he just was visiting Henderson's grave. He's still like getting over that and dealing with everything else that has happened in the last, year. And then he sees these cops messing with this unarmed black kid, and he's just like, he had enough in that moment. But
right.
I don't know. We don't know how much time he had in between to think about, is killing Tobias the right thing? We don't know how much time he had in between, like, those exact moments when they come together to talk about this. But yeah, that I do think that is the one thing that is keeping him on in his code, or whatever his code is. That's, I think, what it is. But oh my God, what was the next scene I was trying to think about? I had it right before we were talking.
Jefferson mind wiped you?
Is it when the
Tobias?
school?
It It was the Tobias one. Is that the one next? When he shows up at the lab with Lynn?
No, that's the last scene.
say
That was the last scene?
Yeah, that was the very last scene.
I thought the last scene
The
was
second to
another-
last scene. That was the second to
Okay, I
last
was
scene.
like-
the next one where Jefferson gets interrogated at the.
Oh no, we're forgetting.
Oh
he gets
yeah,
the
yeah. That's a whole
phone
We
call.
forgetting New Cop.
Yeah,
Yes,
they had him, and I think they had introed her with seasoned William Dent on the TV, and then she showed up with that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we
Because
have
before,
the,
we get his
phone call, though.
he calls him on the Henderson's phone.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. He calls Jeff from the burner phone that Jeff gave Henderson so they could keep in touch. And at first I'm like, who is this? Because I don't know what I thought it would have been someone else. I don't know why, but in that scene, he's basically telling him like, I don't know what to do about you, but I do have this letter that Henderson wanted basically to give me. So eventually we see that they meet. Well, not technically. Jeff is on top of like a what do you call those things? The crater ship thing?
Yeah, the crate shipping crates.
Yeah. We see him on top of it, and they're talking from where they can't see each other. Then we have that next scene. I think is right after, and he's like, Jeff is sipping his was a whiskey bourbon, and he's reading the letter.
That brown liquor, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And he is reading the last letter from Henderson, and I was like, man, I really miss Henderson. It hurt.
Yo, that opening line, like, well, Negro, if you reading this, I ain't here no more. Like, oh, Henderson.
That's classic.
I know.
Like, shout out to Damon Gupton.
Yeah.
He's so good. It still makes me sad that he's not going to be a part of the show.
Yeah, at least part of the final season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that letter, I was just like, I'm gonna go and cry.
It was emotion and exposition because we found out who this random cop dude was.
Yes, and I already forgot his name.
I mean, I'm laughing, but I can't remember his name either. But maybe somebody in the chat knows. But he was. The bottom line was like he was one of Henderson's guys, and so Henderson's like, if anything happens to me, I want you to hold it down for Jeff.
But we kind of learned throughout, even though his part is kind of small in the episode, we learned already that he's probably anti-meta, and still kind of navigating on what side of things he should be on. And then we see him again when the scene that I think Vanessa was talking about is where he shows up at the school with the new
Chief Lopez.
Henderson. Yes, with Chief Lopez. Yes.
That was awkward. So that was just an awkward scene.
Oh, I know. They're questioning him about the. They're like, well, everyone else has all alibis.
Jeff was smart though. Jeff was like, well, that sounds like you need to go figure that out, doesn't it?
I know.
Go ahead, Jeff. Jeff knows his rights, Vanessa.
I think that sounds like a you problem.
He's like, go do your job. Like,
I know, right?
Isn't that your job to figure out who did it?
Like, okay, you got me, cuff me. Like, what the hell do they expect is gonna happen?
I know, like, regardless of like who it was, like they're not gonna like. They might not have a sound alibi, but they're not gonna like not have an alibi to give you.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would expect in general. But yeah, that ends up leading into that's the last scene of the episode, right?
We got one more. We had one more scene. I think it might have happened earlier, maybe even before the phone call. But we had the scene with Gamby and Jeff at 2-Bit's bar.
Oh yes.
We caught like 2-Bits for like 2 seconds. He's like, "You good, Jay? You need another drink?"
I think he gets him another drink. I don't know. And then then 2-Bits talks to Gamby. He's like, "Oh, he's over there," something like that, right?
Hassan.
Hassan.
Hassan, yes,
Hassan.
that's the new cop. Hassan.
Got it.
Hassan
Thank you,
Shakur.
Niche. Thanks,
Yes.
Niche. Yeah.
And Warren Walker. Thank you.
Yep. He's
Oh,
like,
thank you, Warren Walker. Oh,
yeah, appreciate. Yeah, because in the letter
I
he's
keep
like,
trying to pronounce Hassan Minaj. I'm like pronouncing it the other way.
he's like, brother Hassan is a good dude. He a little crazy, but he cool.
Hey, cool.
Yeah.
But you said the scene with Jeff in the bar, right?
Yeah, because Jeff drink. Jeff is at like Lynn season 1 levels of drinking. Maybe season 2, but like Jeff is not without a drink unless he's at school, like at school and in the counseling office. That's the only 2 times in this episode Jeff didn't have a drink.
That's true.
We did mention, Niche said, we can't forget about William from Girlfriends at the press conference. I did mention season earlier.
Yes.
I literally was like, is that William? Because I'm currently binging Girlfriends right now. Like I just started season 6. And so just seeing him on my screen, I was like, what happened?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, baby.
William with the George Jefferson hair, the Stephen A. Smith haircut.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What is that guy? Yeah, I just couldn't. But that was great. That was such a good cameo.
Yes.
I don't know. I hope he appears again in some more episodes. Like that was great.
As Mayor Black.
Yes.
And isn't he the one that they were talking about on like the when Jeff had the radio playing in his car that he like people want him like gone or something like that? Was it him or the other guy?
There's a mayor's race coming up in 2 months, and I think they said people were mad that Mayor Black hadn't stopped the fighting between the 100 and the Cobras.
Okay.
I wonder who's going to run for mayor then, and they're setting up a new character, maybe.
Maybe.
It better not be Tobias.
I was just going to say Cronin, but Tobias, yeah. No, but that is very Lex Luthor like Lex Luthor was eventually president, so I could see it going that route. I would be interested in seeing him become a politician.
Especially since he said the whole make Freeland great again, and he's donating his money to different places.
He's like, I'm going to give you guys $2,000 stimulus checks.
He gonna come through with his old snake oil salesman bit. But I think like going back real quick to that scene in the bar, the thing that was interesting to me, and I don't know again if they're gonna get deeper into this, Vanessa, is like Gamby being the voice of reason is like, I get why you out here doing this stuff, but at least put on a damn suit, man.
Yeah.
Be out here in your street clothes. And he's like, not only can people tell who you are, but it's without the suit, your powers are affecting your nervous system.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to come into play.
We completely forgot about the scene where we see Anissa and Jennifer go out again, and Jennifer gets hit.
She gets zapped.
But she ends up, as we know, she recovers pretty quickly. But that then causes Jeff to go to the apartment complex and
hold on. Time out, Kev. Time out. Because you about to get into this. And yes, we found like Jeff finds out the identity of the member of the 100 that shot Jen. But the way he finds out is because I don't know what they was doing. Maybe they put all their stimulus checks together, Vanessa Short. But they got this new layer out here. They got this lightning cave, if you will. And I'm like, Uncle Gambit, it came up.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. What did you do that dude? Like, because Jen, that was when Jen was in, we're missing a lot of hospital scenes too. We got the Grayson hospital scene, and then Jennifer, after she got zapped, was laying out. I knew when she was like, there's like, oh, she's recovering. But I was like, something suspicious, and like it's gonna happen. And it was Lala specifically said, take out Lightning. She's the strongest.
Yep.
Which I found interesting because I don't know how much he's observed. I guess over a year he's observed and seen how powerful she is. And she's obviously, since Anissa and Jefferson's powers have grown, Jennifer's has to have grown like exponentially. And I want to pull up my comic books nerds here, guys. Sorry, I just finished Justice Society of America Volume 3, and Jennifer Pierce was recruited into the JSA, and like the way they showed her powers was really cool. And she had a really cool scene with Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt, who was like, "You're literally only using like 25% of your power, girl. Like, let's go. You can amp up the battery." And she just goes ham, and it's really, really cool. And I hope that that's something that they incorporate into the show, because she lit up this like one dude who was unstoppable. She was the only one that was able to do it, because she is one of the most powerful metahumans, period.
Yeah, I thought like we didn't get a lot of China in this episode, and spoiler alert, we're not gonna get a lot of China this season because she said she wasn't in every episode. But I feel like the little bits we did get, you do see that she is so much more comfortable with her powers now. Like even in that one scene, and I thought immediately, the first person I thought of when I was watching that scene was Vanessa Shark. Just seeing the joy and the unbotheredness of Jennifer up there in the sky. Yes.
It was honestly one of the most cathartic, beautiful things I've ever seen.
I love those shots. Those shots are so beautiful. Oh my god,
so pretty.
Yeah. I love all of the shots that they have done so far of Jin up in the sky, but this one was really nice because it felt so serene and like, it was a really, really nice scene. And I love those moments. I'm still sad that she's really not going to be on this season because
she's in a few episodes. I think that's also partially why they increased Chantal to regular, because Thunder's gonna need a crime-fighting buddy, crime fighting buddy. So
we out here fighting all this crime, yo. Crime.
You did it correctly.
I was saying I couldn't even mess it up. I was like,
Warren Walker said, Lynn, shout out to everyone leaving comments. You guys are great, by the way. Warren Walker said, Lynn going around with that mask and using the serum got me nervous for her, and Tobias being in the lab doesn't help. Yes, the mask is cool. I want the mask.
I want it too. I think I tweeted it when I was live for the episode. I was like,
I need that mask.
I'm like, where'd she get that mask from though? That's what I kind of meant references earlier when I said like Lynn is still taking drugs and using it and saying bits in the name of science though. That's what I meant, and then I never went back to talk about it.
So much in this episode, though. There was a lot. Like I'm realizing as we're breaking it down, I'm like, damn, there's a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like I thought, the fact that she's not only still taking the green light as we saw, but the fact that now she's experimenting with all these other meta powers and Gravedigger specifically, and it's like. This ain't gonna end well, Lynn. Like
no. And then I don't know if you guys noticed also the other actors in that scene when she has her mask on, they also have mask on.
And they had terrible masks, and neck gaiters are not good. As per the CDC and the FDA and the FCC and all of them. So those criminals need to get better masks, medical mask, double mask, whatever. But anyway, that's my mascot.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying. I just noticed how
that's how you can tell they were. That's how you can tell they were criminals. They had the wrong mask on.
Yeah, no, I know that was great. Like it was really cool to see that. Yeah, Brittany, like that the extras were having masks on and in a way that made sense. Criminals should be wearing masks. Why aren't the criminals?
Right.
None of the Cleveland criminals ever wear masks. What the hell? So that made sense.
Yeah, no, I totally like meant to say something about that I like that. I really do like that touch of like, because these are probably just day player actors, so they're just there for that day, and it's like it's probably easier to just have them wear a mask the whole entire time they're on set instead of like maybe I don't know making them quarantine. They probably did still quarantine on some level, but still it's probably easier to like keep them in their mask.
I believe. I think all guests. I think everyone had to quarantine for 2 weeks. Anyone that was on set had to. It doesn't matter how long you were on set. Yeah. So even which school that's obviously a precaution that they had to do because of Canada and everything. But I believe that everyone, even if you're just filming for a day, you had to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we also have 2 more comments. Niche, she has to stop being reckless going right back to her car. Like they couldn't see her and follow her to find out who she is.
Yeah.
And what happened to us getting the Professor X school? Yeah. And or is it going to become a throwaway line for characters we don't see? See, they didn't know there was only a canceled last season. That's why.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
They
I think a lot of stuff get retconned.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, because I think we talked about it in the episode where we talked about the last season that everyone found out when we found out. Like pretty much everyone who worked, at least the writers and the actors. I don't know about the Achilles themselves, but everyone else in the writers' room who aren't the Achilles and all of the actors, when we found out on social media, that's when everyone else found out.
Yep.
And so they were not planning they were definitely not planning this to be the last season, and they were in the middle of production, so they probably had to change like the last half of what wasn't edited and filmed, so there's probably going to be a lot of little maybe storylines that we won't see wrapped up, unfortunately, not because they don't want to or not because they're not good writers, but because they're put in this situation. Like that's probably what's going to happen.
Like the only good thing out of the whole cancellation thing is that it happened while they were still in production.
Yes,
because at least they can kind of find a way with the parts they already got to put a bow on the season and the series. Whereas, like, I think the shadiest thing that they could have done is wait until the season was already finished filming and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, y'all ain't coming back.
Yeah, because then we really would have ended with a lot of questions and what's gonna happen, and it's very bittersweet, but this is one of the best shows on the CW, and I'm thankful that we got as much as we did, because I was worried that even with how great the first season went, I was just worried it wasn't going to get past season one, just because it was so different from all the other shows on the CW. Not just the superhero shows, just let alone anything on the CW. The shows are very different. So but I'm thankful for what we have, and we have one more scene, right? Before.
Yep. We got one more scene, and I got thoughts about this daggone scene.
The lab scene.
Oh no, we got two scenes. The lab scene. We got one scene. Yeah, we got one scene with Lynn, and then one scene with Jen.
Yes. Batter up.
So I liked the scene with Lynn, which first we kind of see Lynn and she's in her part of the lab, and she's I think I can't remember, she's talking to someone else, and then she overhears someone else's voice who we end up realizing it's Tobias talking to, I want to say it's one of Lynn's coworkers or just someone else who happens to work in this big facility, science facility area, and we discover that he's donated lots of money to the lab, and he's saying that he has heard so many wonderful things about the beautiful Lynn. And I'm just like, Tobias, it's not happening. Stop.
Yo, look, this ain't even a category, but if they gave an Emmy for the best performance from an extra, they should have gave it to whoever was playing Lynn's associate or colleague. Because when Tobias was saying them lines, Vanessa, just to look on, and I gotta go to the solo shot, because
she was like,
the way she was looking when Tobias said those lines, she was just like, oh, okay, like. Just the
she
fact
was mugging it,
yes, like she took up. She knew she was only getting 3 minutes in this whole episode, if that, Vanessa.
She's like, I had to quarantine for 2 weeks for this.
She made it count.
Yes.
I have to give Christine Adams so many props for her her face. Like as a woman who's been traumatized by a man, that's a face of a woman who's been traumatized by a man, and has to hear his voice. Like, she heard him before she could see him, and then she saw him in her face, and then the whole time he was talking to her in that creepy tone, and she couldn't say anything, and she just was like, her eyes were like, just the whole time we're just staring. Like, it was tremendous. I gotta shout out to her for that, because that was great. but also Tobias Whale. Yeah.
Yeah, my man he stay knowing what to say to push somebody's button. Just I'm sure we'll be spending a lot of time together in the very near future.
So creepy.
I know, oh my gosh, but he just won't stop on the ooh, she's beautiful, and he's really just trying to swoop in. I'm like,
yo,
it's not
I forgot.
happening.
I didn't remember until they did the like last season on Black Lightning at the beginning of this episode, Brittany. Like I remember Tobias was in Markovia when we last left him, but I forgot his very last line was, "I think it's time to go home to Freeland. I got a nice, beautiful divorcee doctor to talk to." Like, sir. That is not your wife, sir.
No, he is. He wants.
She don't even like you, sir.
He looks at her like prey, like he's a predator, and that's a part of the appeal. Like you can tell that he thrives off of her discomfort around him, which makes him like he's classic predator. Warren Walker is why. And Warren Walker, shout out to him with the funny comments. He said, "This man has looked the same for 60 years because nobody thought about freezing his bank account." Facts. What's going on? He hasn't aged. He looks the same. Yeah, there's no logic, I guess, in a superhero show. But yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. They're probably really like, well, it's true what they say. Black don't crack. Depending on, who.
Does that work for demelanated black?
I was gonna say, like, if you albino, your skin is fine, yo. That's the new saying. Because you're right. Shout out to Warren, because this man that looked the same for like since 1962. And y'all just letting him just do what he want to do. Like ain't nobody ran a credit check.
No, not at all.
A background scan, nothing.
But he has money. Yeah. But also reminded me another parallel from another movie, another DC project that's not as good as Black Lightning. But when Maxwell Lord in the new Wonder Woman movie came in and he was like, donate a bunch of money to that. It's a classic villain trope. They're like, how do I get into the thing that I want? I'm going to give the money so I can control it. And I always find that fascinating because he's trying to integrate himself so much into her life in ways that she can't like escape from. And
he's about to pull life.
Now I'm just thinking like Brittany. Like now I'm just thinking how much better would Wonder Woman have been if Tobias was the big villain instead of Maxwell Lord?
I mean,
I don't think Maxwell Lord wasn't the problem with that movie. He was actually Mr. Pedro Pascal.
Do not come from Pedro. Do not come from Pedro. No, we don't do that in this house.
This ain't no shade on Pedro. I'm just saying, grinding the beast with this.
Yes, but I think Pedro is great. He was the only thing I really liked about that movie. I love Pedro Pascal. I will fight somebody like that is my man.
I love them. I love that those parallels
to me, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen my tweets on Twitter.
I think I muted that term, recited poetry, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow, how dare you? Anyways, you know what would even be better if they teamed up?
Yeah, all the villains in the comics. Oh my god, that's why a lot of the Black Lightning is so underused and underrated because a lot of his villains teamed up with the villains we always see would be so cool. Like it would change how things operate. I think I think it would be interesting. Tobias Whale, Lady Eve. I always gotta plug Lady Eve. I hope she's out there living okay. I hope she's living. But yeah, I think that would be great. I just want a villain team up. That's all. I always talk about this every episode. Anyway, do you have one last scene? Do you have any more thoughts on that scene, or we can go to the last scene?
I think there's one more scene though. Nate said, I believe, right?
Yeah, last scene.
Scene, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. The very last scene.
Sorry, we have two more comments.
Yes.
Mind the Gap said, it is interesting that a show has had one major big bad through its whole run, which has had two technically, right? Because Gravedigger wasn't like in the full season though, so I don't know if it was a full big bad. So that's a valid point. I don't know if Crondon, or I could call him Crondon. I think that's what I don't know. Tobias, his real name is more menacing than his intro name.
Right.
Tobias was, I don't think he was intentionally supposed to be the villain for this season. I think they were probably end up going to try to take a break from him and like go back to him eventually. But since this is now the last season, it seems fitting that they end the season with him being the big bad. I'm not saying I don't think he'll be the only big bad, because Gravedigger is still out there.
Yeah. I mean, they were probably, I feel like because of the first episode was probably already filmed before they got the news. I think that he was maybe going to be in like this episode, and then he kind of would go back to maybe being the beneficiary in the background kind of thing until, you know, because I really do feel like they were going to do more with Gravedigger with how things ended last season. But now I don't know. I think we still will see Wayne Brady and Gravedigger, but you know, I don't know how much it's going to be prominent now, since they probably had to rewrite, you know, what they probably already had written.
And if they were going to do something like Vanessa was suggesting, like almost a parallel to what they're doing on Supergirl, or even in the comics where Lex is this outstanding citizen, like I think if that's their end game with Tobias, like this season would have just been Tobias getting elected, and then next season would have been like, how do I get rid of this dude? Like everybody's looking at Jeff like he crazy. Like, can't y'all see this man? Like this ain't the guy. And so that would have been the conflict for season 5, I think.
Yeah, I think that's exactly true. I think that's because that would have paralleled a lot of what happened between Superman and Lex in the comics. And it's one of my favorite storylines is people are like, Superman, you're crazy. He's president, you know, and he's like, he's a bad guy. Like if that, I think that you're right. I think that's probably the trajectory that they would have gone with if we had gone a couple more seasons.
The president, a bad guy? Only in comics.
Shucks. One more comment from Niche. Niche said Linda Carter at the end was the best part of that movie. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Yes,
but agreed. I geeked hard. I love Linda Carter so much. She's the most beautiful, effervescent woman. And she's like in every version, every universe. Like she was in Supergirl as the president. She's like on everything. And I think she was also in Smallville as someone. She played a character on Smallville. I cannot remember. But I love her. Her willingness to keep diving back into the DC verse shows how much she loves being Wonder Woman, how much she's a part of it. Seeing her as Asteria at the end. I teared up. That was the best part of the movie. And the beginning where with baby Diana. That was mine.
And I do have to say, I believe her husband actually passed away today. So love and light and
rest in power, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does it say? Did you listen to the podcast with Damon Gupdam from Comic Book Central where he talks about Black Lightning and he is a huge Superman fan? No, I didn't, Ollie, but that sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think he's great. I think Damon's great. And his love for his comic book, any actor who loves who's actually a huge comic book fan, even if it's just like a character or two, I have so much respect for them because they know what there's like real like passion for it. So, yeah.
I mean, you know what they say, Vanessa, you got to bring ass to get ass. I can say it if it's a direct quote, right? Like it's a direct quote from the show.
My husband had that as his profile picture for months. Was Bill Henderson saying, "You gotta bring ass to get at? Are you guys to get?"
Oh my god!
No, because it was a viral. It was actually a viral tweet. They were like, "Y'all got to get into Black Lightning, man." It was just that clip, and everyone was like, "What the hell?" I was like, just vibe with it, baby.
and like that's how good Damon was. Like he pulled that line off, and everybody's like, "Okay, let's go with it."
Yeah,
I love it. Warren at Walker, I agree. President Wonder Woman 2024, agreed.
Yes.
I would definitely vote for her for sure. I mean, I vote for the good guy every time, but
yeah. Now I get what you mean.
Our last scene that we need to talk about.
Yes, is with Chief Lopez and I want to say Detective.
There are so many last scenes because I forgot about this scene too. Like,
what scene? Huh? I thought we were talking about Jen. What last scene?
Yeah, she's talking about the scene where Lopez and our good brother, the new cat,
Hassan.
Brother Hassan, are at the hospital checking out the. Remember the 100 that Jeff like went in and assaulted
he fried his eyes. Yeah.
Yes.
It was
And-
lethal.
Like
Yeah.
that scene was like uncomfortable when going back to the scene where Jeff was in going after the gang member Brittany, because it was
Mhm.
like somebody need to be there to like stop Jeff, because like it's like, damn, Jeff, you done gone too far.
He's going. He's still on the line.
Yes,
Mhm.
he's slowly getting there. I was like, oh my god, he done melted this man's eyeballs, even though they didn't show it. Like realistically, that's what would have happened. His
Liquid
eyeballs
out of his eyes.
Are you right-handed or left-handed? Doesn't matter.
It
Like,
doesn't matter. I was like, oh,
sir, like,
I know.
where's the future, Mr. Pierce?
Someone called him. Someone I saw when I was people were live tweeting. I saw someone like he's reminding me of season 1 Oliver Queen, and I was like, it's very much that. Yeah.
Yes.
Very vengeance first. Yeah.
Yes. I am vengeance. I am the night.
Niche said, forgot all about the new police chief was talking about tagging and tracking metas, gave me serious X-Men vibes. Yes.
Yes.
Which is going to be a conflict.
Oh yeah, because I think they pretty much already have the idea that Jeff is a meta. That's what I gathered from the last scene, is that Jeff is a meta, and they probably think he's Black Lightning. So that's at least what I gathered from the last scene. I'm like, oh, this is.
I think he's going to get outed this season.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, I think he's either going to get outed or he outs himself to get ahead of it.
Coming out.
Yes. He want the world to know. He make that lightning glow.
We are a part-time.
That's how they're gonna end. That's gonna be the very end of the season. Like just Jeff walking down the street to Diana Ross in his Black Lightning outfit with no mask on.
It's time for me to break out of the shell. Jazz hands.
Oh
yes.
And credits, like, oh, this season of Black Lightning took a turn.
All I want to see is that. That's all. And then
he's walking down the street like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3.
Oh God, not that! Please, never that.
Yes.
Not this. Not that. Never that. Please, God. I hate that movie. All right.
All right. Our last scene that unless we think of another scene before Brittany finishes.
The final scene.
I thought that was the last scene.
No,
Jen falling.
I didn't think she was like falling. She was.
Yeah, no, she shorted out, homie.
Yeah, she was up in the sky, Brittany.
Yeah,
I know she was up in the sky, but
we don't know if she landed, but yeah.
Right.
Oh,
and they didn't give us a trailer, so we don't know.
Yeah, they didn't give us a preview for next week.
Yeah.
I thought, I guess because I didn't think anything of it, I thought she was like up in the air, and then she kind of was like slowly coming. I didn't think of that. She shorted.
No, she was flying because she was
Mm-hmm.
trying to draw in like all the energy like she did before, and right after she took the energy in, it started fading, and she collapsed. She started falling.
So I'm concerned about so we have super friends in the universe, but who's going to catch her? Like. Or unless she's gonna wake up in the middle and then like I'm concerned about what is gonna happen here. But I have a feeling if they go this route where she basically lands and she's in the hospital, that's how they take her out of the season most of the season, because she's gonna be hospitalized for the rest of the season.
She goes in the hospital right when Grace wakes up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Yeah, I could see that too.
That's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm very concerned, and I saw a lot of people were like frustrated. They're like, I hope they don't kill her off. Like, I don't think I really hope that's not the route they would go.
No, I don't think the writers would do that. Like, unless it was something mandated, like by the company, by corporate, I don't think they'd do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
which would be petty.
We we had talked about before that they probably did cancel the show as because China is the one who brings in a lot of the younger audience viewers. And I think because she wanted to cut back on the season, I think, that's part of the reason why the show got canceled. And, I don't think they were going to kill her off. I think it was just probably going to be her, like, in a coma or something where they can't find her. She's missing to keep that going with her character, because that's what it was going to be. She wasn't going to do the season too much, because I think a lot of people don't realize how binding a lot of shows, working on shows are, especially shows on network television. they're a lot more binding than streaming service shows, because streaming service shows usually film like an actual how movie film, about 3 to so many months. And then when you're working on a show for, network, it's pretty much like almost all year round. That's not including like all the Comic-Con or interviews and press tours and stuff like that. So I think a lot of younger actors that even you brought up, Vanessa, with oh my God, his name is escaping me. Wally.
Keenan.
Keenan Lonsdale, yeah.
Yes. I think he also stepped back too, because that was why he wanted to be able to do other things and not just this one thing, because those shows are very binding, and it's pretty much your whole life for like however long you're on the show.
Especially when you get to that point, like I know Keenan said he was at that point, and we saw China's video that she put out. Like when you get to that point where you're done, like it's hard. It's hard. And then like I know some people out there like, oh man, but you on TV, you famous, whatever. But like just even in your regular job, like I don't care if you work at the bank, if you work at the grocery store, if you work at an accounting firm, if you work at McDonald's, the minute you tired of that job, it's hard to go back to that job.
Even if like, let's say all your coworkers are cool, and even your management and everything, like everyone's cool, but like you're still just tired of the job itself. Like it happens. Like, and I think that's something people need to realize. Acting is just another job.
But I also think the pandemic had so much to do with a lot of this stuff. It's so hard. Like a lot of these actors have to be away from their families even longer than they normally. They can't go back and forth and visit. So like the process, they probably sat them all down. We're like, here's what the expectations are now that within filming in COVID, and like people were just like, I'm not doing that. Like I know Melissa Benoist isn't even. They had to film without her for this part of the season while she's taking care of her kids. Like she can't. They had to film basically around her, and this is the last season for Supergirl as well. So there's a lot of adjustments being made because of COVID in the pandemic. So I think that's having a lot to do with it. But yeah, I agree. Like there's really no flexibility when you sign on for 20 or 18 to 24 episodes. You get burnt out. And second, I don't blame anyone for leaving. It just sucks that their decision was to then
cancel the show. Yes. I mean, I don't know. And then I don't know if they were hoping that she would be, as we talked about on the other show, Painkiller. I don't even know. Painkillers. We don't even know if that's going.
Yes, I saw. I did see a news thing that Painkiller, Wonder Girl, and Naomi are still getting pilot treatments on CW. So I think maybe that's supposed to be like their new
their younger,
newer, younger verse. But so we have a couple comments. Oliver said yes, she looks like she was floating, but also falling at the same time. And then Mind the Gap said maybe she triggers another a boost in power as she falls.
Maybe because I didn't think she was like falling because of like something serious, and maybe just because the scene before is the scene with Chief Lopez, that I was just like so focused on that I didn't really think about the severity of what was happening with Jen.
That was what concerned me. I was like, oh my God, like what if she lands? Like
well, the fact that not only did they cut it right when she was falling, Vanessa, but like you said, we didn't even get a preview for next week.
Which means the whole trailer is probably too spoilery. Like, or they just, I don't like, are we going to get a trailer? Like, that's like, what if the whole thing, like they couldn't cut a trailer if that wasn't spoilery? Like, we don't know what happened to her,
Yeah.
Episode 7 is a backdoor pilot to Painkiller. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's from Niche. Niche said that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we can speculate next episode, but
I do have 2 tweets though. From William Walton. He tweeted us saying, why can't they help Grace by going into her mind like they did with Khalil? That is a very good question.
I think she's in a coma, not a mental prison.
Well, that is, yes.
And then the other thing was Khalil was, because they used TC to get into Khalil. So Khalil had that chip in his head or whatever.
Oh, it was electronic.
Yeah, it was electronic. And that like that's not what's wrong with Grace.
No, Grace is just out. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the only person who may be able to get into her mind would have been maybe Perenna, just because she has those powers to kind
Yeah.
of do
Mhm.
that. But like, I think one of the reasons why she's probably not, we're not going to see her too much, is again because of budget, and
Mhm.
I think that's the only reason why we won't really see Perenna, because we had also brought up why wasn't Perenna the one doing the couples therapy for,
Hmm.
because they already know a therapist, so
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. The
Unless
next one,
Perenna was like, nah, I don't need this. I don't need to be in the middle of all this.
possibly. uh, and then our last tweet comes from Captain Ash X, and they said they did hashtag Black Lightning, stopping police violence on site as usual. Everyone's hair is on point. Jeff and Lynn finally in couples therapy and healing. I don't know. Oh, there was that scene where they kind of like they actually talk, and I forgot about that.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
okay. I have a theory about that, and then we can get back to this tweet in a
Okay.
second. Because like when I first watched it, I was like you, Cap. I was like, oh man, that's real sweet. Like, Lynn is
Mhm.
is trying to make an effort to see something from Jeff's point of view, and they had like a little tender moment. Like, it wasn't real intimate,
Mhm.
Vanessa, but it was like you could tell there was some connection there that wasn't there before. But then I remembered the last scene we saw Lynn in before that was when she was out on these streets fighting these
Mhm.
criminals. And when she got back in the car, she was like, I need you, Jeff. And so I'm wondering, like, is she making up with Jeff because she genuinely wants to, or is it because she needs Jeff's help to figure out this metagene stuff, or both?
Mhm.
Yes, and then the last part was that kiss was a damn B. Jennifer enjoying her powers, the Pierce family body count, and she says, "Let hashtag Thunder Grace be happy."
Mm.
Yes, let them. And then I think Niche also just said that in our comments. Wait, is Niche the same person as Captain Ash? But yes, let Thunder Grace be happy and in love, please. Yes, come on, like.
Yeah. And Warren Walker said, I hope this season Khalil's backdoor pilot doesn't give us blue balls just like the Green Arrow and the Canaries.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm not going to cape for that show, so I don't really care about it.
I have not caught up yet to the last couple seasons of Arrow, so I can't talk about that. I didn't see that episode. But what I can say is we deserve to have Journey return as Diana. As Diane. Sorry, Dinah. Oh my
Dinah?
god, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. I think that's partially why they didn't go ahead with that. Not because there wasn't enough audience for it, but because if they are planning to do more, and I think they are planning to do more with Journey's Black Canary, I don't think they want the mess that CW made of the Canary show. Or the Canaries on the CW. It's a mess. They basically split Dinah into 3 different people on the CW.
Yes, they
Yep.
did. I can't believe. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to get into that before I get mad.
It's F Guggenheim all day. Sorry, I don't care.
Do you guys have any final thoughts on this episode?
I think it was a really solid episode. It set us right back in the mindset of this show. I think, again, going back to the fact that they made this show under the circumstances, not only the cancellation, but also with COVID. And like you could tell, like the show's different, it looks different, it feels different, but it's still like the same people that we're invested in, the same people we care about.
Yeah.
I guess my thing, like my theory going forward is I got 2 theories. My first theory is, and I like this, so I'll piggyback on it with I co-sign it with Vanessa. Is at the end of the season, Freeland will know that Jeff is Black Lightning one way or the other. Either he gets exposed or he has his Diana Ross moment. He's walking down the street in his Black Lightning costume without the mask. And then my second theory is that at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to kill Tobias. Tobias will not make it out of this season. And if I was going to put some money down right now, my money.
Lala?
Well, see, you say Lala. I'm gonna say my money's on Jen.
Okay.
My money's
I
on Lynn.
Ooh, I
I think
like
it's
it.
gonna be Lynn. I think it's the way he creeps on her. I think it'll be her. Or she'll be there at least.
And then Ollie's asking, do you think we're going to have flashbacks of what happened within the last year?
Probably.
I think probably when it's important to the story going forward, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
And,
I would agree.
And Mind the Gap is with you on Lynn would be the one to kill Tobias.
Yep. I think they're setting up for that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think in terms of the flashbacks, I think we will get important flashbacks, like you're saying, Cap. But I feel like there's a lot more they would have done with that had they known they were coming back for another season. So I think that, like, when you do that time gap, whether you're talking like our 1 year gap here or, you know, the 5 year gap with the stuff over on the Marvel side of things, like, I think you're doing that to set stuff up, to set yourself up for the future. And there's a lot they could have done within that year, but we're not going to see but like a little, like little snippets of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to get our have to go back moments like Lost.
Like Jeff Gambit's just looking. Jeff, you have to go black. I mean back.
I think I think the episode was great, and I'm excited and nervous for the season. Anxious. I'm struggling with the fact that, like, we finally got Black Lightning in the Flashverse, the CWverse, whatever, only for it to hit a pandemic to hit and then the show to get canceled. So there's no chance for it to ever outside of that crossover ever for, like, unless they secretly, unless they secretly did a cameo. There's just it sucks.
Well, I mean, unless they come back after the fact, but then it just won't be the same. Like, I'm sure, depending on how there's like things were left on the corporate side, like, you know, there's a possibility like Nafissa could show up in Gotham, or there's a possibility like Crest could show up in Central City, but it won't be the same. Like, it'll be cool, but it won't be like it's crazy. Like, it's still crazy to me. Like, you spent all last year, and granted, like half of the problem is just COVID. Like, there's no control for
there's
that.
no plan for that. Yeah,
you spent a whole year building up this idea that all of these people are interconnected, and now, like, half of these people ain't even here no more. Like, Jefferson's gonna be gone,
Supergirl,
Kara's gone, Oliver he been gone, and then we got a new Batwoman. So like, out of your little Super Friends Justice League table that Barry worked so hard on and put everybody's little emblem on the back,
you got to get new
3
chairs.
of them people ain't even here no more.
Order new chairs.
Right.
I don't know. But also there was that article circulating, I don't know if you guys saw it, that the CW and HBO Max are going to be coming together to start doing the shows going forward. So I don't know if that's just the superhero shows or if it's going to be, all of the CW shows across the board. But if that's what their future plan is, at least, that means at least when we get the Wonder Girl show and when we get the Naomi show and then Painkiller, they're going to have a higher probably production value. So I don't know if we're going to get Black Lightning back on HBO Max because they're going to do this thing and then they're also going to do this thing now where the shows, after an episode comes out, like a day or two later, it's going to be on HBO Max right away. So I do think that, I don't know, maybe we'll see them again in a different capacity on HBO Max, maybe only just for Black Lightning, just because it's not going to be on the CW anymore. I don't know, but part of me is holding out hope that we will get Black Lightning back. I just love the show. I'm not ready for it to end yet.
Yeah.
See, now you give me hope, Brittany, not just for Black Lightning, but now I'm thinking about all the things All American can do with a budget. Ooh, don't tell me they're going to put money into All American. That's going to be hot.
Riverdale. No, I'm kidding.
Now you ruined the moment.
I had to. I'm sorry. I just,
Riverdale.
Like, Riverdale's still going on.
Can't believe. Anyway. Anyone else has any other questions?
We could be here all night talking about shows that are still going on besides ours. But last call for comments. Anybody got something to say? And then we gonna wrap things up, Brittany Monet.
If Black Lightning goes to go ahead.
Yeah. If Black Lightning goes to HBO, I can't wait to hear cursing on the shows. No filter. Yes.
That means I'll get to curse.
Yes.
Woo, we get to curse.
If the show get to cuss, we get to cuss.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If we can't get Black Lightning, give us the Outsiders.
Agreed. Yes. Listen, I love the Outsiders. I'll take them with or without Batman. I don't care. And now that Titans is on HBO Max, and we already have a Dick Grayson there. Dick Grayson with the Outsiders and Black Lightning Young. There was a great scene in Outsiders 2003 with Judd Winick who wrote it, where Anissa gets injured during a mission, and Jefferson rips into Dick, and he's like, ah! And then eventually helps him on a mission. It's one of my favorite issues, but I would love that. Sorry, I just need to geek out for a second.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome.
And Misty shows is bittersweet though. Yes, agreed.
That's the other thing. And again, I'm stealing from Married to the Real a little bit here. So again, shout out to Trey and Tasha. But they were talking about how there's a theory out there that some of these shows are ending and some of these characters are being kind of shelved to make way for the movie versions of these characters potentially. And I'm like, I kind of get that, but at the same time, man, it's like, why would you, other than star power, which as we've seen, a big name doesn't always equal big box office or even a good movie.
Yes.
But you got a dude here, this whole cast is great, but I think the fact that you got Cress here and the way he's brought this character to life in a way that I'm having a hard time kind of picking whoever would be the older kind of seasoned actor.
But I don't think they would go with him. I think they would go younger. There's most of the new content that they've put out with Black Lightning, he's always been younger. And they actually made Anissa and Jennifer his younger cousins. Hasn't even met Lynn yet. She's still Lynn Stewart. There's been shifts so that they want to have a younger Black Lightning while also still having Thunder and Lightning, the family. So I would think that more than likely, because of how CW treated this older Black Lightning, will most likely, if we get a movie or another project, it'll be a younger Black Lightning just starting out and not a just coming back from retirement. So I love Cress as Black Lightning, and I think that he's just so good. There is a way that they can continue these characters. Matt Ryan has by sheer will continued with his. He's been multiversal hopping from project to project. So and Alan too as well. So that there is hope that we'll see Cress again, and I hope so. I hope so too. I mean, if you're gonna say that there's a multiverse, I don't know, they can bring it back. They can bring back the multiverse. We get Michael Keaton back as Batman.
I know. Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I really hate the idea of them deciding to go with the younger Black Lightning and replacing, because right now, at least I can't think of anyone who would be a good replacement. I don't know.
To play a younger, the version I just read, Cold Dead Hands, to play that version of young principal would be the guy, I always forget his name, but the lead actor on Lovecraft Countries, who I always kind of leaned on.
Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, because he's very athletic and very the way he played him was very and that's the way he's very but that's the version, I'm talking about comics version. I'm not talking about the version you guys are talking about. I'm talking about comics version of the thread. You have to understand that I think of the Black Lightning show as another comic book. It is another AU that every writer has their interpretation of each Black Lightning. So I love almost every version of every character, the young Black Lightning that's just starting out as a teacher, helping people. I love that version. And I also love our seasoned, angry veteran who is really struggling with all of his responsibilities. So I love them all. But I have a feeling that if they do bring him into the verse with Static Shock being or Static being, coming back, that he'll end up being younger.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too. With Static back, this Black Lightning get put on the back burner now that you've got, because as much as we love the show, Static, and we talked about it before, guys. Static is money on the table.
Yes, absolutely.
That they left sitting there because they didn't want to do business with the right people. And so it's like, now that you got Static back, does that make Black Lightning less of a priority?
Probably.
I think, yeah,
sadly.
Yeah, I would agree that I think with their interest in, because I just on DC Universe, they just uploaded all of the Static and Icon and Rocket stuff. They didn't upload all the Milestone stuff. So they're basically, every time I see the new releases and stuff, they're basically prepping audiences on a from a comic level, on a TV level, on every, like, for what their next project's going to be. Like, why do you think Peacemaker is in the Suicide Squad? Like, they're gearing up for their next projects because they have the Charlton guys that they bought in. They did this. They did the same thing with Swamp Thing and John Constantine back in the day when they introduced the Vertigo comics into line. So they're gearing up for a big launch, I think, across TV and film for Static and Icon and Rocket to get featured. I don't think Black Lightning won't get featured at all. I don't think he's going to get put on the back burner, but I do think he's not going to get the grand main stage like he has been the last few years, because John Ridley loves writing for him. Like, I have the other History of the DC Universe with him on the cover on my wall. Like, I think with DC bringing in John Ridley is not going. He's not going to let our Black heroes sit on the shelf getting dusty anymore. He wrote a great story for Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, Green Lantern, and Ura Sinral Fatality, little kissy poo poo. So, like, John Ridley, he's like, give me all the Black heroes, let's bring them in. And then, there's another one, McKinney, LL McKinney. I think she's got a ton of Nubia stories out this month. So DC's focusing on the Black heroes. It's just curious as to why they did this to Black Lightning on the CW.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. All right.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. Breaking news, guys. I know this is not related, but Gina has been fired from Mandalorian. My Swara, who is a friend of the podcast, he just DM'd me and all caps, Gina fired. So I wonder
grand opening, grand closing.
I wonder what the trigger was. What finally happened? She's been a monster.
Today tweeted basically a very anti-Semitic thing.
Oh, well, that's when you go after the white people. I don't like that.
She's been tweeting anti-Semitic stuff for a while, and it's surprising to me that she hasn't been fired. No, like, that's why I made that tweet earlier. There's one thing if you're a Republican, but then when you're being a hateful person, that's when you need to be dealt with and face the consequences.
Right.
Because if I was at work and said, I hate white people, I'm going to get fired for it.
A private company can fire you for whatever. So Disney was holding on to her for a while for some reason.
Yeah, but she's kept going with her hateful stuff, and I don't want to get too much further into it on this podcast, but she's fired, guys. Sorry.
Nice. Congratulations on your.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. She's not great. She's terrible, and that's great news. Yeah, for the Mandalorian.
So disappointing too, because she had so much potential.
She really did. And you know what? Before she came out with how she was, like, I really loved her character, and I was here for her. And a lot of the people who have been in support of her character were the people in the first season were like saying terrible things about her. So it's so weird how the tables have turned, and like,
how the turntables,
right?
It's almost like they don't care about the material; they just care about the political views.
Facts.
But let's just not go down that road. Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
So
thanks for the update.
Yes. Before we go, where can our listeners find you on social media, Vanessa?
Reading him on camera, I'm like, you can find me at Vanessa Shark on everything. You can see right there my name right there. I talk a lot about stuff. I've been taking a bit of a social media break just because it's been exhausting, but I'll probably be back on it because I'm on vacation for the next 2 days. So yeah, follow me on Vanessa Shark if you want. I also have, if you're into marijuana, I have a podcast with a friend called Hot Toast. I think we've already been shadow banned on Twitter, so I don't even know if you can find us. They do that a lot with cannabis related things, which I've had a feeling I told Jen that was going to happen. But we just talk about weed and like the benefits. I legally smoke it it's legal in Nevada, so I am illegal. She's got a medical marijuana card in Florida. So we are Gucci. feds. But yeah, you can find us at Hot Tokes Podcast. I think that's the name. And then I think that's all I got to plug.
All right.
Hello, Captain Kamala Harris in Freeland. I got another one for you. Open confession. Open confession, fam.
Oh.
There we go. So the people looking, I got the phone. It's a prop. If you want more of this entertainment, y'all can check me out on Twitter at @8 MOZAIK at Nate Mosaic. Check out the Kings of Sport podcast. Myself and Marcus Vanderberg. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/the Kings of Sport. Over 100 hours of audio and video content, including there are some episodes up there where you can check out Brittany and Vanessa as well on the Patreon. Let's see. Again, Twitter at @8 MOZAIK. Patreon, patreon.com/the Kings of Sport. I think that's it. But yeah, go support Vanessa and Jenny. Like
He brought us together.
For as long as this lasts before the feds roll up on them, it's gonna be a good show.
Hey, not in Biden's America. Not in Biden's America. There's a Negro smoking marijuana.
And then Brittany, we'll just be reading letters from Vanessa from jail. Like, well, Negro, if you're reading this, I'm probably locked up.
Free her.
Yeah.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at Hi Brittany Monet, HI.
Hi, Brittany
and
Monet.
then if you can see the spelling of my name, be warned, I do tweet a lot of wild and crazy stuff, and often there's tweets that go a little too far.
What? You?
Just to, I am not joking. Some people think
not our sweet angelic child of God, Brittany Monet.
Well, you definitely got to put a explicit content label on some of her tweets. I tweet about everything because I dabble in so many different things of interest. So it's all over the place. And then, you can check out an old audio drama I did called Fangirls. If you do like Star Wars, it is about a group of Star Wars fangirls who go on a road trip and to try to sneak into an early screening of The Rise of Skywalker. I'm pretty sure they would not have liked how it turned out, but you can check that out. And that's kind of all I'm doing right now besides this podcast. Yes.
So speaking of this podcast, real quick before you get to the final plugs, Brittany, I want to shout out the prodigal son, Clement Bryant, aka the Andemic. You can find him on Twitter at Clement Bryant. Send him some love. The brother been real busy lately. Send the brother some love at Clement Bryant on Twitter. But also, he did a Black Lightning season 4 episode 1 review earlier today that I found on these here internet streets, Vanessa Shark. Clement been stepping out on us. So him and Michael Young, Nerd Soul, did a review earlier today. So once you get through listening to this like 2 or 3 more times, so you can catch all the little intricacies, then you can listen to Clement and them. For a few seconds.
Replacing Clement. Anyone want a job? I'm just kidding.
Wow.
You're replacing Clement with Scarlett Johansson. That's the big news, everybody.
Yes. I'm excited to work with Tree.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lituation Room, Gina Carano. Like, that went sideways.
Inappropriate. No, that's she's lit the insurrection on our podcast.
Yeah. That's not. We can't do that.
Shout out that man Clement. We miss Clement.
Yeah, it's been a minute. He's busy.
He is. He's always busy.
But now, Brittany Monet, talk about all these shows and these interconnected universes we got here on DC TV podcasts and whatnot.
Yeah, well, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and I believe we're also on Google Play and wherever else you can find the podcast. You can. I don't know
why I'm adding all this.
It's fine.
It's like Migos out here.
It's fine. You can follow the Black Lightning Podcast on Twitter at BL_podcast. And then we also have an email address, which is blacklightningpodcast@gmail.com. You can visit our website, blacklightningpodcast.com as well. We are part of a larger DC TV podcast network where you can find other DC TV related pods. There's so many great ones. There's Batwoman, there's Flash, all of them. Check them out.
Speaking of Batwoman, like Vanessa and I were guests a few weeks ago on the Batwoman podcast, right before the season 2 premiere. So, shout out to Rachel and Mimi and Mand and all them. Like that's all of them. I don't know why I said and all them. Unless Clement's gonna be on that show too. But Vanessa and I were on there. So shout out to Batwoman.
Yeah. No, I think I ended up working that night, so that's why I wasn't there. Got to make that money. But we, I read everything. Okay, well then, until next time.
Did you plug the TeePublic?
Oh yes, and we have the TeePublic store where we can find cool merchandise.
Okay.
The different shows. There's a cute couple of t-shirts on there.
That's not where I got this.
and not where I got this, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Black Lightning. Hey. Because somebody had to look like Black Lightning tonight. Jefferson.
Black Lightning shirt. Oh, okay.
No, I was talking about Jeff. Like you ain't put on the costume the whole episode, brother. You just wearing that struggle suit for 90 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Sunday's best.
The ties always unloosened. Like, come on, Jeff, get it together, baby.
All right. Well, until next time. Well, I didn't give the website. It's the TeePublic store, right? .com/TeePublic podcast. Wow. I usually have it written down and I think I accidentally deleted it on my document. I am sorry, guys.
That was quite a ride, Vanessa. Like, I didn't know where we were going with that.
This is what happens when I pretty much try to hurry up and do everything right after I get off work and try to be ready for this.
Shout out to everybody before Brittany gives us the final farewell. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, man. We appreciate it.
Yes.
This is the first live show we did. We still kind of working out the kinks. Like, we may do some more this year, but I think we definitely got to at least do one for the finale.
Yes.
So maybe we'll do more than that, but we'll definitely do at least one more this season. But this was fun. This was fun.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was. Thank you for everyone who sent in comments as we were doing this.
Yes.
Who pre-tweeted us, and I know we usually, like, for emails, we usually kind of tweet later on in the week to get the emails, and we kind of did it right away. So if you missed your email, don't worry, you can still email your thoughts on this first episode and whatever. We'll read it on a later episode. It's been real, y'all. It's been really fun. Until next time, stay lit. We out.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We love you.